Peace, peace. What's going on, everybody? Joshua Tree back with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about empaths and thought forms. I've made a few videos on taking spiritual baths and like energy cleansing and things of that nature. I want to just place emphasis a little bit more on thought forms and importance of course, taking a spiritual bath and many other things that you can do to help support yourself if you are considered to be an empath or someone who is sensitive to energy. This video is inspired by some interactions I've had recently and how I've been navigating these particular experiences. And so I just decided to come over here and share some wisdom with you guys. Okay, so let's get straight into the video. So like I said, this video is specifically talking about thought forms and talking about empathic individuals. So recently I had an experience where I came into contact with someone and of course me just doing my normal, dabbing someone off or what have you. Uh Maybe like 2 days later, I start to have visions of this very antagonistic type of energy circulating through my vision. So when I close my eyes, I can see entities and thought forms of that nature. And so in this particular case, I saw this particular entity moving around, let's say my third eye, what have you. And it was completely different from my type of energy. So for people who consider themselves empaths and sensitive to energy, you can tell when it's a thought form that is attached to you, when the energy itself has a very antagonistic emotion or energy that feels completely different from yours. So, like, say for instance, you are a person who, um, let's say, likes to talk about eating certain types of food, right? And then you hug someone or you dab off someone or whoever who, let's say, eats a different type of food. If their food, that whatever they eat, whatever the energy that they carry, if that energy has a very strong presence to it, when you come into contact with it, you can create this distinction between your energy and this energy, and you can tell that this is not your energy and it's that someone else energy. So it's so important that as an empathic person that you spend time by yourself. It is so important. You spend a lot of time by yourself in the comfort of your home and become aware, extremely aware of your core energy. The more that you become more aware of your core energy, anything outside of you would be easily detected that it's not your energy. And that's when you know you have to cleanse or remove the energy from around you. So I hope that makes sense, that analogy. And so let me go back to my story. So, I had that experience. I saw the energy or whatever moving around. And so it depends on how strong the energy is. Sometimes you don't always have to take a spiritual bath. I highly recommend you take a spiritual bath just to cleanse your aura out in general. But sometimes you can just bring your awareness to that particular energy that's moving around or what have you, and just literally dissolve it, because the energy is still a part of the whole, and we are all part of the whole. So you can just literally transmute the energy back into harmony. It depends on how strong it is, though. Sometimes you can't do that. So naturally, what I do is when I see something like that that is completely opposite of my energy, I bring my awareness to it, I focus on it, and I allow it to process, because it's a thought. It's a thought form. Thought forms are thoughts that have created some type of formation. It's created some type of, I don't even want to say solidify, but it created some type of, um, let's say, weight, right? There's a lot of thought forms that we come in contact with from people, places, and things on a consistent basis. When you go into the bar, there's a lot of thought forms, which they call spirits, hence alcohol is called spirits. It's a lot of energies that's always present around a lot of these different environments. So we're constantly being around these type of things all the time. but there's certain individuals that you may come across who have certain thought forms or energies attached to them that is completely disharmonious to them. And so when you get a little bit of that energy to yourself, it becomes completely disharmonious to you. And so if you're vibrating in a frequency that keeps you in a harmonious state, the energy cannot stay around for too long. This is why they always tell you to keep your vibration high or to keep a certain frequency, because it's kind of like saying you bringing in some bad food into into oxygenated or alkaline environment. It won't stay in environment for too long because it's not its environment. It cannot thrive off that environment. Thought forms are kind of like parasites. They need a host to host onto, and so whatever the host that they was hosting on, that they was holding on to, has they try to transfer some of the energy to you, but you are a different host from that host. And so what naturally happens is that thought form can't stay around for too long. Eventually it has to dissolve, or it has to either grow or dissolve. It's either or. And sometimes if we're not aware of our thoughts that are particularly our thoughts, we'll feed into those thoughts thinking that it is our thoughts. That's why it's important that you understand even your own thought process. What are the thoughts that you're constantly cycling on a consistent basis? Because 90% of our thoughts are all subconscious, and a lot of those thoughts are on repeat. We have the same thought cycles every single day. If there's a new thought that comes in that interrupts that thought cycle, that may not be your actual thought, that might be someone else's thought. So it's good to reevaluate who did you come in contact with and how is this person's personality. That can give you an indicator that that's that person's energy. Okay, but the more that you become aware of your thought patterns and your thought cycles, the easier it is for you to detect if it's a thought form or entity that's attached to you that's trying to, latch on to you and trying to develop a home. It's nothing to be alarmed about. It's nothing to freak out about. It's literally just thought forms. We can call them entities. You can call them spirits, but they're constantly on an. It's constant. So I would say a good way to tell what your cycle of thoughts are is after you take a spiritual bath, bring a lot of awareness to your thoughts and what thoughts are you having. Okay, so to give you an example, you take a spiritual bath, and for people who don't know, I made a video on how to take a spiritual bath. Please watch that video along with all the other videos I have that is dealing with cleansing energies, psychic energies, and empaths and things of that nature. All of it will help you out. But after you take a spiritual bath, me personally, after I take my spiritual bath, I get into meditation, I get into to silence practice, and I become completely aware of just self. And so whatever energies that are around me, I allow them to be just what it is. But I notice every time I take a spiritual bath, I'm more quiet. I don't have too much of this going on. You know what I'm saying? But once you get out your spiritual bath, get into a place of just centering yourself and get into a quiet space and just be mindful of the thoughts that are still lingering. Okay, and ask yourself, are these your personal thoughts, or are these thoughts outside of you that someone you may have interacted with, or a person, place, and thing that is still influencing you? That's a good indicator to let you know that you need to cleanse. Okay, especially after a spiritual bath, especially after a spiritual bath. Okay. And so, like I said, this video is, of course, for people who are empathic, people who are sensitive to energy. Another thing that you guys can do, and I made a video on this too, and I'm just going to say it again. When you go out in public settings, you need to zip up your aura field. What am I talking about? What I'm literally telling you is when you're about to go off into a place where there's a lot of social interaction, a lot of people, you need to imagine you zipping up your aura, you zipping it up and closing down your energies. Okay, you're closing down this energy that you're putting out, this receptive energy that you put out that makes people want to just kind of come to you. Close that down. That's not saying you're not going to be, people going to think that you're stuck up or anything like that. Energetically, you're closing these energies down. So you want to literally imagine that you are zipping this energy up from the front, and you want to imagine that you're zipping this energy up from the back. And like I say, you can do it from the sides. Just zip it up, right? And imagine yourself it's enclosed in this particular type of energy, or this like this energetic bag, or this energetic balloon, or this energetic protection, however you want to look at it. Use your imagination. This will save you. I promise you. I do this all the time. I used to struggle with large crowds. I could not stay in a large crowd for a very long time. I could not stay in a large crowd for a very long time. I'm telling you this. I'm placing emphasis on this, okay? I'm telling you. Now I can go in large crowds due to this particular technique. It fucking works, okay? Zip up technique, all right? Be mindful of that. Before you go out, knowing you're about to go out, zip it up, zip it up, zip it up. All right. Um, and so I just want to come on here real quick. I don't think I have anything else I want to share. I just wanted to hurry and make this quick video because I'm noticing that some people that I do, have came into contact with, I have had some previous experiences, and I'm just like, let me just check in with family. Let me see what the family talking about. Let me see if y'all good. Let me see if y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, a lot of my people who follow me on this channel, I feel like we have a lot that's in common. We resonate with a lot of this information. So I want to make sure that you guys got the information. So on that note, I'm gonna let y'all go. Drop in a comment. Let me know if this has supported you, or if you even use the zipping technique. Then let me know if that works for you. And yeah, stay tuned for the next video. Peace.